Welcome back everyone. In this lecture, we are going to quickly go over the solution for Microsoft SQL Server Chapter 1 assessment. Now it's time to know what is RDBMS. RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management System. Relational Database Management System is a more advanced version of DBMS that allows to access the data in more efficient way. Earlier we have used the DBMS, but this RDBMS is more advanced as compared to DBMS because the data access is more efficient as compared to the DBMS database. Because in DBMS the data are stored in file format, but in our RDBMS the data are stored in tabular format. So due to that we will get more efficient way to access the data. The name suggests it deals with relational data by using various constraints. Constraints we will discuss on our next chapter. This line is telling us it is dealing with relational data. If I give the example, I have drawn two tables on my screen. One is employee table and another is department table. This is our department table and it is containing like department ID, department name, location and department city name. So here ID is the unique property on this department table. Now we will come to our other hand, which is employee table. It has ID of the employee, then name of the employee, and last we will keep department ID. That means the employee is working under which department we can identify based on this department ID. So data is storing like this relational way. So due to that reason we are telling it's a relational database management system. All modern database management system like MS SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, etc. belongs to RDBMS. So I think we got the crystal clear on this question's answer. Most of time beginner level student will get this question on your interview. Now we will move to our next slide to understand what is the difference between RDBMS and DBMS. DBMS stores the data as file format. On other hand, RDBMS stores the data in table format. Just we before discussed, the data are stored in tabular format in RDBMS. And as you know, DBMS store the data in file format. Like we are keeping the data in document, text file. Like that way the data are stored in DBMS. In DBMS, there is no relationship between the data. On other hand, relationship may contains between the data. Next point, not required normalization. In RDBMS, there is normalization. Normalization we will discuss on our future session. It supports single user. Other hand, it supports multi-user. That means when we are keeping the data in file format, so at a time one user can only access the data. But here the data are stored in central system. So due to that, multiple user can access the data on same time. Data stored is a small quantity. You are keeping the data in file. Due to that reason, it contains the less amount of data. But on the other hand, data are stored in a large amount. DBMS does not support distributed database because all these files are stored in one system. So it's difficult to distribute a system on our network. RDBMS support distributed database. Security is less. More security measure provided by RDBMS. Just you know the TCL command, you will give the access, we can remove the access to the user, and all these data should be accessed through after the authentication. Next point, data redundancy is common in this model. Suppose someone is stored in file and another user came to the system in DBMS and he tried to insert the same data because he did not check the previous files what the data are contained in our system. So due to that reason, duplicate record will be inserted in our database. Due to that, data redundancy is common on this model. On the other hand, constraints does not allow the data redundancy. We have different types of constraints and it will not allow the duplicated data inserted in our table. So due to that, redundancy data will not contain in RDBMS system. DBMS database example like XML file, Windows register key and some old file management system, etc. On other hand, MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, etc. belongs to RDBMS system. So these are the points difference between RDBMS and DBMS. Now we will move to our next slide to understand another question. What is the difference between SQL and NoSQL? SQL database are relational, NoSQL database are non-relational. SQL database have predefined schema. NoSQL database have dynamic schema. It always store the structured data. It always store unstructured or semi-structured data. SQL database are vertically scalable. NoSQL database are horizontally scalable. Data are consistent. Data are eventual consistent. Maintenance cost is high. Maintenance cost is low. Now we will see this example. In SQL database, we need to store the data in tabular format, and these data are relation with other tables data. Suppose again I will come to this example, employee. In our employee table have ID, name and a department ID. So whenever we are going to insert the data for the employee details, so that time we need to follow these columns records. We could not able to insert the address of the employee or the phone number of the employee because that structure is not defined in our table. Due to that, we are telling this is predefined schema. But on the other hand, the data are not stored in relational ways. It is stored the data in key pair value as a file format like Boolean file. So here there is no fixed structure is there actually. So anyone can insert the data like they will enter the ID of the employee, name of the employee, address of employee. They will not follow the fixed structure actually. So due to that, it is telling on structure or dynamic schema. The next point is SQL database are vertically scalable. So SQL Server is present in one system. So here if you require more space, so we need to enhance this system or we need to upgrade processor or disk size of the server. So due to that, it is vertical scalable. But on the other hand, so we can keep the data on different server. Like I will keep that same file on 3 different systems. So A, B, C are our server and we have one employee vision file. We can keep on every server. So due to that, we are telling it's vertical scalable. Data are consistent. On other hand, NoSQL data are eventually consistent because employee data are present on every server. Suppose one user is came to our server C and he updated or inserted the data into the employee details. So that time this employee file will be updated. Same time it will be not updated on A and B server. So due to that, it is telling it's eventual consistent. Maintenance cost is high. The first point, when we are dealing with more data in SQL, so we need to prefer advanced server. So that time the cost will be increased automatically. Next, for the coding or maintaining the data, we need to hire technical person to deal with this data. On other hand, the distributed system will decrease the maintenance cost and the data are stored in file format, so anyone can manipulate the data on NoSQL server. So due to that, maintenance cost is low as compared to SQL. So these are the difference. If you want to more details about SQL and NoSQL, so you can check out a video. I will share the link on the description. Now we will move to our next slide. What are the different subsets of SQL? Or we can get like this, what are the different sub-languages present in SQL? So this also we have covered on our first chapter, and also we have discussed each sub-language. So first is DQL or data query language. On this language, we are fetching the data from the database by using the select query. Just remember like this way, query means you are fetching the data from the database. So that time we are using select query. Next, data definition language or DDL. Just remember this key, definition. If definition is present on your sub-language, that means data definition language. So that time you are creating the table, altering the table and drop the table. These are the belongs to DDL command. Create, alter, drop, truncate. These 4 commands are belongs to data definition language. Most of time interviewer will ask like this question. Drop is belongs to which sub-language? So that time we need to answer it. It is belongs to DDL. Next sub-language is data manipulation language or DML. Once we created the table, then after we need to insert some data, update the data or delete the data by using DML operation. Remember this keyword, manipulation. That means you are manipulate the data inside the table. So which are the commands belongs to this manipulation language? Insert, update and delete. Next, data control language. Up to here we have created the table, manipulate the data by using DML, and we have fetched the data from the table by using DQL or select statement. But everybody cannot be access our database. That one we are managed by data control language. We are giving the access or we are revoke the access from the user. So that time we are using grant and revoke. Next, transaction control language or TCL. This sub-language you are using to commit the data, or in case it is some reason, we can revert back to our original state by using rollback command. It has commit, rollback and save point. Transaction we will cover on separate video on our upcoming session. So just remember it has 5 sub-languages: DQL, DDL, DML, DCL and TCL. Now our next question, what are some common clauses used with select query in SQL? So we need to tell where, group by, having and order by. These are the common clause you are using in our select statement. Where at what time you are using when you want to fetch the data based on some condition. So that time you are using where condition. Next, group by. Some case we are fetching the data based on the group by. You can check our chapter 1 and in that video you are explained with the example. Having. This is also similar kind of where clause, but this condition we are implementing against the group by. Next, order by. We are using this clause to fetch the data on ascending order or descending order from the table. You can prepare this complete syntax. Select distinct star or column name from the table name where you are mentioning the condition. Group by, we are mentioning the column name based on which column we want to see the group by. Having, we need to mention condition against this group by, and order by, we can use the column name and we have to mention ascending or descending order. Now next, what is difference between column wise projection and row wise projection? Projection deal with element or selection of column or row from the table. So projection is divided into column wise projection and row wise projection. I am giving this example. This is my employee table, and in this table I have ID, name, and address, phone number, department ID, and salary of the employee. So you can see I have 6 columns on this employee table, and it has 1000 rows of records. When I am using the select query, this is my query select star from employee. So that time it will fetch all these 6 columns as well as these 1000 rows record. That means all these records will fetch from our employee table. But if you are telling about the projection, we will element the row or column on our result set. So that time we will not use the select star. Star will fetch all these columns, but here we will use some ID or name from employee table. So it will fetch only ID and name, and it will pick only 2 columns records. So that time we will tell column wise projection. Suppose if I use where condition on our select statement, so that time it will not pick all these 1000 records. If I say salary is greater than 50k, so that means those employees are getting more than 50,000 salary. So those many records only will pick from the table. So that time we are imposing the condition to restrict to pick all the records from employee table. It will pick only those employees are getting more than 50,000 salary. So those records will pick from the table. So that time you are telling that is row wise projection. And also we can check our chapter 1 explanation. We have discussed the same in SQL Server. So that will easy to understand. So please check out our previous chapter. And also we can find the link from I button. Next we will move to our next most important question. 100% chance to get this question in your interview. So please remember all these points for your future interview. What is the difference between drop, truncate and delete? So drop command belongs to a data definition language. Just 2 minutes before we have discussed sub-languages of SQL Server. There we have discussed drop command belongs to data definition language because it is deleting the tables from our database. Truncate command belongs to data definition language. Both are belongs to data definition language. But delete command belongs to data manipulation language. Here we are manipulate the data in our table. The drop command removes the complete tables from database. So that means it will delete the table from our database. Truncate command only capable to delete all the records from the table. It means it will delete all the records in our table, but table will be present in our database. But here the table as well as data will delete from our database. The delete command capable to delete one or more existing records from the table. Here it has capable to delete one record or more existing records from the table. It will not delete the table completely. It only delete the rows from the table. And we can see these two commands are similar to each other. But here truncate only capable for delete all the records. But here it is deleting one or more existing records. After I drop the table, it cannot be rolled back because this belongs to DDL. So due to that, we could not able to roll back the table. Similarly, it is also belongs to DTL command. We could not able to roll back the table after using the truncate statement. Other hand, after delete the commands execution, it can be rolled back because this is a DML operation. As you know, as our TCL chapter, we have discussed comment and rollback only will apply after execution of DML statement. If you forgot that, so you can watch that session. So we will more clarify on this difference. So this is DML. So you can apply after this education TCL command. So that means we can roll back the data after using delete command. Drop command has faster performance than delete command, but not as compared to truncate. What it means, when we are removing the table from the database, if you are using drop command, so that time you will get faster performance as compared to delete, because this is DML operation, so it may take more time, but not as compared to truncate, because truncate will delete only all the records from the table, but here drop will delete all the records from table as well as it will delete the description of the table. So due to that, it is not faster as compared to the truncate command. Truncate command works faster than drop command and delete command, because here in truncate command could not write the where condition and truncate will delete all the records. So due to that, it is very faster than drop command and delete command. Delete command performs slower than drop command and truncate command, because when we are performing to delete one or more existing records, so that time we will impose the where condition. Where condition will be check the condition on each records, then after it will delete the records from the table. So due to that, it is taking more time. And this is DML operation. When you are doing the DML operation, it will check all these constraints should be satisfied, and also it will check index and trigger. So due to these reasons, so it is very slow as compared to other. Write the query to change the data type of column in SQL Server. So here we will use the alter command. Alter table, then after our table name, then I can alter and we need to mention column. This is mandatory. Then command will understand you are going to change the column by this command. Then after your existing column name 1, then after we need to mention the data type and its size if it is applicable. Similarly, you can follow the other columns for the changing data type in your SQL Server. So you can check out our chapter 1. You have given some proper example in SQL Server. So we will get more understanding. Write a query to copy the table structure to new table. So here we will follow the commands to copy the data from one table to another table. So for that we are using select star into new table from our old table. So that means this old table is present in my database. If I want to create one more table like this old table, so if I use this command, that time it will create one more table, that is our new table, like this old table's description as well as its data. But here if I import this where condition 1 equal to 2, so that time it will not pick the data from this old table, only it will take the description of old table and it will create one new table for me with similar structure of this old table. Explain the process to create the user in SQL Server. So if you are getting this question in your interview, so you need to follow these steps. The first step, you need to log in as an administrator in SQL Server. Once you log in your SQL Server, then second step you need to follow to create the login ID in your database by using the below commands. Create login, your login ID with password. You need to mention your password. Once login ID is created, then next step, we have to create the username against your login ID. What we have created the previous command, so we will create the username against on that login ID. For that case, you need to follow create user. Then after we need to mention your username for login and we need to mention your login ID. Then last step, we need to enable SQL Server authentication mode by manually process. For that case, we need to follow these steps. Right click on your SQL Server, then after property, security, then choose the server authentication. Next we have to choose SQL Server and Windows authentication mode. Then after click on the OK button. Then after we need to right click on SQL Server and restart your server once. Then after we can use this login information for the authentication in your SQL Server. Now we will move to our info syntax website to discuss the assessment questions answer. We will start this assessment. Which sub-language have drop command? As you know, drop means you are deleting the tables from our database. So this is our object and we are deleting by using drop command. As you know, you are using create command, alter command to change the definition of the table. Similarly, here the definition is changed of the table. So that means it is data definition language. Next, when should we use commit? Commit actually this is the TCL command and it is using save the data in our database. At what time we need to save the data? When we are changing the data in our system by using insert, update or delete. So then after we will use the commit command. So as you know, insert, delete and update are belongs to DML statement. So that means we will use after the DML statement. This is the correct answer. What is the use? Grant. Grant is belongs to our DCL command. It is providing the access to the user. Here the options are there. Provide privileges to database objects for user. Provide access to only table for user. Remove privileges to database object for user and all of the above. So as you know, it is providing the access to user. So that means this option is not correct and last one is also not correct. So we have right now two options only. One is provide privilege to database object for user. Next, provide access to only table for user. So grant, we are giving the permission to user to create table, view, store procedure or manipulate the data. So that means it is providing the access to modify any kind of object for a user. So this is the correct answer. Next is create command used for create only table in SQL Server. It is asking what the create command is there. Only you are using for creating the table? No, we can use in table and store procedure, view, trigger, everywhere we can when we are creating any object in our database. So that time we can use create command. So that means it's no, it's not for only tables. We can use when we are creating any object in SQL Server. And next question, each alter command belongs to DQL. As you know, DQL means data query language. That means it is fetching the data from the table. Fetching means you are using select, but here it is asking alter is belongs to DQL. No, it's not belongs to DQL. That means it's false, which will give you better performance. Truncate, delete both and none of the above. Here truncate will give the better performance because it is delete all the records from the table. But here delete, it is deleting one or more existing records in our table. So that time it will check the where condition. Then after if indexes are there means it will impact the performance. And also if any trigger are there against the DML statement. So that time also it will take more time to perform the execution process by using delete command. But here truncate, it will delete all these records from the table. So it will give better performance as compared to the delete command. Next, how many types of projection in SQL Server? Two types are there. One is column level projection. Next is row level projection. Now next, choose the correct one. We will check the first command. Select star from employee where salary is greater than 3000. Group by employee name having count username equal to 1. Order by ID descending. Here it's mentioning the complete descending, but we are using DESC for descending. So that means it is not correct. So next we will check select star from employee where salary is greater than 3000. Group by employee name having user ID equal to 1. Order by ID descending keyword. You can check select, we are using star, but here we are using group by clause employee name. So it will give the error because it is fetching all the records. It is not work based on this group by clause. So this is not a correct answer. Next we will check this option select employee name from employee where salary is greater than 3000. Group by employee name. Here it is correct up to here. And next having user name equal to 1. But having we are using to import the aggregator function condition. But here user is not aggregated function. So due to that it will give the error. So this is not correct answer. Last one option, you will check select employee name from employee where salary is greater than 3000. Group by employee name. So up to here you are using group by employee name and you are fetching also group by name. Next having count username equal to 1. Here we are using count aggregator function. So that means it is fine. Last order by ID is a descending keyword. So this is our correct answer. And next question, why use truncate in SQL? Remove table from database? No, it will not remove the table from database. Remove all of the row from the table? Yes, it will remove all the rows from the table. Next, which is correct? One the below list. select employee name from employee. You can see here this statement employee, then after space is there, and after name is there. Usually column names will not contain space, but if space is there, so that time we will use square bracket to write this type of condition. That means we will write employee space name, column name inside the square bracket, then it will work. But here square bracket is not there. It is not correct answer. Then next select from name employee. So after the select keyword there is no column name, directly it come to the clause from. So this is also not correct. Next select star, then after employee name, then employee salary. Employee salary also have the space, so this is not correct one. Next select e name from employee. So this is the correct one. Now we have discussed every interview question as well as our assessment test questions. Now we are going to be able to kind of more efficiently program our way through the future test. I will see you at the next lecture where we will discuss operator, data type, and most important topic in SQL Server or SQL, that is join, constraint, and many more. We will see you there. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, and comment on this session. And most important, please click on the subscribe button so you will get more notification for our future video. Stay safe. Take care. Bye.